All right, today we have a chance to check out some interesting one-of-a-kind cars at my friend's garage. Let's see, where is he at? I know he's here somewhere, buried back. Oh, there you are.
There I are.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm so good I can hardly stand.
Good to see you, Lynn. All right, fist bump there.
You're out of jail.
Yeah, I just got out. All right.
Well, he probably lied anyhow.
So you got some new toys to show, huh?
Well, a few and some old ones just moved around.
All right. Place is looking good.
Well, that's nice of you to say.
I got the Bears Vet fresh out here, huh?
Yeah, 58 was, considered the most, decorative by way of chrome trim and accent stuff and louvers and.
Wow. When did he do this? Do you know what?
They did it in 59.
Oh, really? Wow.
It was finished in 59, so in the 58, 59 timeline.
Wow.
And it ended up with a 327, 350, because in 58, they only had 283s.
Oh, yeah. Did he ever keep the original engine, I wonder? Probably hard to tell, huh?
Oh, no.
Wow.
The Ford Country Squire, but the thing that made it unique, it had the factory 428.
Oh, really?
Oh, it sounds like a race car.
I'll bet. I didn't know they put big blocks in these things. Well, I guess it makes sense, though. I mean, a big heavy wagon.
And apparently one survived. Maybe they only made one, but it was a 4-speed with a bench seat.
Oh, really?
428 in a Country Squire wagon.
A 4-speed. That's just what you need for taking the family out on a picnic. Oh boy. So tell me more about this guy here. I know you've had it here before,
This
but
one?
yeah. So Lincoln.
49 Lincoln Cosmopolitan. It's a flathead V8, but the Lincoln had a bigger displacement, and it has a hydromatic transmission from General Motors.
Really?
They apparently sold their transmission to other manufacturers. And the car was so heavy that Ford didn't have a transmission that they felt would hold up.
That is gangster looking. 35, huh?
Yes, and this didn't have roll-up windows.
Really?
It has, they would fasten in canvas side windows like carriages used to have.
Wow. I wonder how many of these they built.
I don't know.
Huh. So this came from the same owner as the Ford wagon, you say, huh?
Yeah, there was some horse trading going on. And bought a 50 Oldsmobile.
Yeah.
And, after the war, it was kind of the start of, a lot of people that knew how to work with metal and weld and all that kind of stuff. And people were starting to customize cars. And, in fact, George Barris and his brother, the Barris brothers, were kind of that time, and they did cars.
Yeah.
And another famous one was called Valley Service up in California, and they had done some really interesting things. And, it was the start of the car magazines, and everybody knew. They started chopping tops and you know, doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
And so this guy bought the car, drove it out to California, and the thing that was kind of different was he wanted the car done. Most of the people that were doing custom work, they were younger people, they weren't real well off, but they might do parts that will do this, then we'll do that, you know, and suddenly a customer shows up and says, no, I want it, when I pick it up, I want it to be done. And they did. And he was thinking again about chopping the top, and in talking with the design people out there, he said, you know, we have this idea, we're not so sure chopping the top is going to be as cool as sectioning the body. And they sectioned 4 inches out of the center of the car, all the way down.
Really?
And there's some pretty fair documentation of it. They hammer welded it all, and they had to plan some of the cuts were, you know, looked like a Chinese fire drill, kind of all over the place. But they took 4 inches out of the center line of the car.
Wow.
And then greened up this wild color, did the, you know, the Naugahyde interior, and it was called the Polynesian. This was sent a couple weeks ago to Chattanooga. They had a concourse down there.
This one was.
Yeah, so
Oh,
it was
okay.
down there, and this is the Paxton Phoenix. It's all fiberglass. It's got a retractable hard top. It doesn't articulate. It actually matches the trunk deck. And
Wow.
it slides rearward. It's pulled by those cables on those tracks, and
Wow.
then sits over the trunk deck and matches it.
Huh.
And it was supposed to be steam powered. And Robert Paxton McCulloch of Chainsaw fame, this was one of his ideas that he had a skunk works, and he thought the future cars were going to be steam powered.
Yeah.
And so it's a mid-engine. They had been studying other cars, one of which was a Porsche, like suspension and the stuff. And when it was evident that steam power technology wasn't going to work out, they decided, they'd been working on it, you know, late 40s into the 50s, and they rolled this out in 53 and put the Porsche engine they had. They bought a new, I think it was a 50 or 51 Porsche.
Wow, really?
And so just to have something to power it,
Yeah.
that's what's in this now.
It's like a flat 6 then, or
No, the 4-banger.
4-popper, okay.
The steam engine. Abner Doble was kind of the guru of steam stuff. And Leno has some cars he had designed and worked on.
Yeah.
But they couldn't get it to come together. And
Steam. So you'd have to have a little coal furnace and all that stuff going on.
oh
huh?
yeah. So they went with this, and
I think this is a better idea.
V6 turbocharged.
Yeah?
And this stupid thing was 160 grand.
Really?
1991.
So they actually sold these production-wise?
Yes, they made a few of them.
No kidding. Nissan, 1991.
But it's called a Zagato, and it's an Autech, is the division. But
Wow.
it's kind of a cool car.
But
And this is the, you know, the multicolor paint as light changes.
yeah. Oh, flip-flop, right? I think they called it flip-flop back then.
Yeah, they had, you know, it was, but it goes from this dark blue to probably pick up some of the purple tones. And
But it was a collaboration at Italian Design and Nissan Build,
Yeah.
right? Okay. Wow. That's
is
something.
that one of the, they only made them in 48, but it's a Davis
Three-wheel.
three-wheel, largest three-wheel car made, and it's all aluminum.
Wow, really?
Top clips off, so it's an open car.
I saw this out at Summit Racing. I think either you or Myron had it out there years ago.
Yeah.
And how many of these were built?
They made 16 of them.
Wow.
Actually, there's a little argument. It's either 14 or 16, and all but one survived.
Really?
This kind of had a bit of a Tucker story. Davis was selling stock and got a little romantic.
Yeah.
And got in trouble.
Davis.
And went to jail.
Oh boy.
And part of the agreement when he was paroled was he couldn't do anything in the automotive world again.
Really?
And so if you look at this car long enough, you'll know what business he went into. And it relates to the carnival business, because he was a little bit of a huckster anyhow. But he made bumper cars.
Oh.
And if you look at this sucker, it's shaped, the front bumper and that,
Yeah.
it looks like a big bumper car.
I guess it does. It has. Oh yeah, yeah. That's a funny story. Oh my goodness! Look at that. Sweeping down the sides.
Yeah.
What year is this? Is it a? I should know this. A, B,
I'm
or
not sure.
huh? That's cool.
Might be like a 56 or 7-ish.
Yeah.
Just
I actually brought a flashlight, but I don't know.
shooting lights over here.
Yeah. Wow, that's cool.
In I think it was 58, and they found a 56 Ford Crown Vic. And
Wow.
all the kind of the features of that era. You know, they put in the dual Chevy headlights, you know, and tilted them. It's got the Chrysler taillights and stretched it. It's got a 430-inch
Let's see, bright.
Lincoln engine. You know, they did turned the bumper upside down. They put a Canadian grill in it, and you know, stretched it. It's got a Continental kit, and
Looks very much Chrysler, though. I mean, of that era, you know, car. That's
56
interesting.
Ford Crown Victoria that was customized by Brooks Stevens in 1958 for his kid.
Crown Vic. So it's interesting. The front does look like a Chrysler, though, in a way, you know.
Yeah, and well, they used, you know, Chevy had come out with the, because they bought it in 58, so 59, no, 58, I think was the first year they had the quad headlights.
Oh yeah.
And and then they played around with, you know, tilting them, and then they had to stretch it, and
Maybe it's that one. I forget which model. One of the Mopars had the tilted headlights, and maybe that's what reminds me of a, you know, like a Mopar product.
there's a lot of that era when they were going to 4 headlights. You know, everybody was trying to do it a little different.
Yeah. But these had Jaguar disc brakes on it,
It's
huh?
got 4-wheel disc brakes,
Wow.
4-speed GM, and in fact, we have it. It's in the trunk. I had only seen pictures of them, and I saw this decal. They had a Latham supercharger made for their 430-inch Lincoln engine. And they said they never could get it working quite right. So they took it off and put a 4-barrel on it, which is the way it is now. It's a driving car. And it feels kind of good. But son of a bitch, to have a Latham supercharger
Wow.
is
How many cubic inch motor was it again?
430.
430. Okay, pretty big. I bet it sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it does.
Huh. So we have our foreign car department here.
Yeah.
Isuzu. That was a Mazda, right? This one?
Yeah, that was, and I think its claim to fame, it was the only front-wheel drive Mazda that they made.
Huh.
And
That's interesting. Rotary, huh? Boy, they were doing rotaries way back then.
yeah, it's Toyota's first sports car. And when apparently Honda came out with a little car, and they said, make me one of these. And it's a,
Wow. Let me get it.
it's a 2-cylinder.
Really?
And I thought, where the hell did they get that? Well, Toyota built buses too.
Huh.
And this was the engine that powered the heating air conditioning system in their commercial transit buses. And so they took that 2-cylinder engine, put twin carbs on it to make it look kind of cool,
Wow.
and rolled out this
That's
car.
so that's a heating air conditioning
Yeah,
motor.
it was the HVAC motor out of a bus.
What displacement is it, do you know?
Oh, I don't know, it's pretty small.
That is a neat little car though. Now what years were these produced, do you know? Or which year, what year is this?
For this. I think it was, 60s decade, I think. I'm just not sure. I used to make a cheat sheet up on stupid things.
60s. That is really cool though. I'd love to have something like that.